saddle he has for Blaze is a general purpose. So.
But no, I have a 9X Felix that I think I'm going to sell. It's actually my favorite saddle. It's the last. The other saddle I need to sell is Mick's old saddle, which is a Nexus.
Yeah, Rocky didn't like the Nexus.
So he still inverts, but his steps have become much more measured.
Yeah. He's getting a lot more control over his motion.
He's trying different things. He's trying a lot of different things.
So it's almost a little bit too big of a circle for him to let go of his neck. Tighten it up a little bit on the turning, but keep him, it feels like a giant turn on the haunches. So feel where he places the inside hind leg. Yeah. Yeah. And turn before you get to it. Turn this. Yeah. Yeah. So keep the spine very straight. What you're doing is really either the hind end will cross or the front legs, or ideally a little bit of both. So you feel like you're in the middle of a square with his neck in the center of the square, and you're pivoting the square in or out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then you see here, what you're looking for on Celine, what he's doing is he's tracking relatively straight with his hind legs, but he's starting to step here with his front leg.
And that's what we're looking for.
Yes, because you start to work the adductor and abductor muscle groups, right? Mostly on his front end. Because he's on the forehand, the hind end might be the first one you get, but then you put the forehand and hind end back in line, right? So otherwise, if you don't get them back in line and he bends his neck, that's what Celine's doing, and over-crossing the hind legs, escaping, not moving the front legs. So you almost want to feel like you have the rectangle of the body, you want that square. Front legs, hind legs on two tracks, right? Then the neck dead center. So then the way they have to come around the circle is like this. So it's a light adduction, abduction, right? So if they start to bend the neck and do that, right? Then you straighten with a short straight line. You want to get the body back in line. Then you want to turn, right? And the tighter the turn, the more they cross the legs. But if they don't move the front legs apart, and you can see because they're narrow-chested when they're on the forehand, right? They don't want to move the front legs apart. What they do is that, and they pivot around the front leg like that. That's what Celine's doing. Okay? So in that case, here you just push forward. You go forward. Then you straighten. Right? So you get the hind legs. So ideally, like a turn on the haunches is that. The inside hind is still going forward. They can pivot as well, like that. But they're square. They're not bending. They're not misaligning hind end, front end. But when you're turning, it's easy to lose track of that.
Yeah.
So you have to really think, you want the square horse as the priority, the neck center. Eventually, what we really need to do is place the foal to the inside and do the same thing. And then you're working on bend. Right now, we're just working on rotation. Keep the foal straight. You start to control the rotation, right? As you go forward and around. So a little bit of a turn. They can still go straight, but there's a very light abduction, adduction, right? And the hind end can abduct here, adduct here, or it can adduct here, abduct there, depending on what they're doing. But you're looking for the width between the legs, right? So you don't want the bend of the spine, you want the spine straight. When the legs cross or head that direction, when they're moving more laterally, you're controlling the rotation of the spine. So you're really looking for the rotation to stop. The rotation is what gives you the misalignment. You're looking for the spine to be upright.
Straight.
Yeah. So that's why if we think geometrically straight, what we're really doing is reducing the rotation. It's the side-to-side motion. him square. And then literally you turn your pelvis to be pivot around. Yeah. Then if he sticks his neck up high, you tighten the pivot. It's a feeling of pivot rather than bending and turning. Yeah, like that. Yeah, yeah. Feel that? Yeah. And keep the neck straight. Yes. Then, if he's relaxed through the neck, you transition a tiny bit onto a straight line. Can he walk on a straight line without having to go into extension? As soon as he goes into extension, you go back to the idea of a square sort of pivot. And pivot's a better word than a circle.
Yeah.
It gives you a different picture. So keep the whole spine aligned. Get that first. He's going to go into extension. Yeah. 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 The more he goes into extension, the tighter the turn. Yeah. Then when he's like that, a few steps straight. If he falls forward, give leg a little bit of rein resistance. As soon as you give rein resistance, he's going to go back into extension. That's why you go back onto the turn. There, go a little bit straight. Nope, too late. He's back in extension. Yeah. So you maybe get one step, but it's an important step. So you can put in that one step. As soon as you get the one step straight forward, because once he starts to get the rotation corrected and he's more upright through his dorsal tips, then he falls forward. Once he falls forward, you're in a different problem. But it's good to have a different problem. So the extension, that, yeah, you take that away by asking him to turn by moving the legs outward. Inward, outward, inward, outward. Yeah, so he's doing it better than Celine. You see the width coming through the front leg. Then he goes upside down. As soon as he goes upside down, no more straight line. You begin the process of a turn. You don't have to turn fast, but you need to begin the process. As soon as you begin the process, he starts to go, oh, okay, I don't have to be upside down. So you might think of spiraling in, spiraling out, rather than going straight, turn. One or the other will work better. Right? Sometimes you go right from that to a short straight line, but as soon as you go straight, he starts to go upside down. So maybe you think more of coming out into a larger pivot or in. So if he starts to go upside down, you start coming in. Yeah. So there I would be thinking in. Now I would be thinking keep that size or let him wander a bit out. Now a bit in. Yeah, keep heading in. Yeah, now stay there. Now in. So it might go from sort of a spiral to a pivot to a spiral to a circle. From a circle, little bits of straight line, maybe to a hexagon. But whatever the path of travel is, you're doing it in response to what he's giving you. So don't keep going straight if he's in extension. That's the point. You stop that habit by making the turn with a straight spine. Yeah, so he's more often in extension. So that means you're going straight for too long. Yeah. So you need to be turning more there. Now, don't throw him away. Because he needs to learn he can take the rein contact. That's what you need on a straight line, is the rein contact where he doesn't try to get above it. Right? So you teach him. Yeah, there. Relax your arms, push him forward, but keep pivoting. Yes? Yes. Then turn more. Yeah. So it's not the pattern, it's the coordination you're after. Yeah. 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 And you'll feel sometimes it's easier to get the turn from the hind end, sometimes it's easier to get the turn from the front end. You really want both. and both at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. And stay on that size circle. Nope, now tighten. Yeah. 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 So you feel him go in and out of the right coordination. As soon as he's out of it, you have to change it. When he's in it, you can let him go where he wants to go, or you can direct him a little. Yeah. Yeah, very good. And you see, that controls the speed. And for this horse, it teaches him to take the rein contact. So you don't take the rein contact, he does. And when he learns that he can put his head down and you're not going to let him fall, you're not going to pull on him and you're not going to give to him and let him fall, he'll start to figure out he's going to want to be down there. And from there, we can ask him to lift. But when they're up above, yeah, legs don't get it.
Stop it.
Okay. But yeah, that's the result that you're looking for. That's what gets him out of chronic extension. If you just try to do transitions in extension, it doesn't work. But if you start to use the adduction and the abduction, it actually steadies the spine. When it steadies the spine, he's going to start to have that kind of muscular lengthening, right? Then when he does that, he's going to fall forward. So he's going to fall forward, he's going to pull down. Once he pulls down, we're golden. Once he pulls down, then you can increase your vertical, keep the rein contact, add the leg, and he's going to learn to coordinate his back.